welcome. This is Black Weekend. This Black Weekend is a podcast we started where me, my friends, myself, we all like to sit around and discuss what's going on in pop culture, the world. It's what we would have been doing anyway. We just decided to record it. So I'm here. I'm Jared. I'm here with
Chance. Say hello, Brooke.
Oh, hey. And Brooke.
Brooke.
Have you done a podcast before?
No, this is my first time.
Okay,
never.
I know you have a friend who does a podcast.
Yes,
okay,
but
gotcha.
no.
Okay. Well, welcome. We're glad to, have your podcast debut be with us here at Black Weekend. We're excited.
Thanks.
Exactly. Brooke is filling in for Jasmine. Keep her in your prayers.
R.I.P.
I know, right?
Strep throat. We're pulling for you, Jasmine.
Was it strep throat or bronchitis?
It was bronchitis. You're right.
It was definitely bronchitis because I pictured that. What's that lady? She said, I almost got bronchitis. You remember that lady?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So like I said, Brooke is going to be joining us today. She's going to help us bring the feminine flair. We decided to bring her on. Otherwise, it just would have been a sausage party, me and Chance giving our male perspective.
Gross.
So thankfully she's here with us. Okay, as we always do, we like to start off with a game of Black Card Revoked. Our resident Black Card Revoked expert is going to explain the rules real quick.
Thank you. Okay, so you've each got two black cards on your desk. It's sort of like Cards Against Humanity. So I'm going to draw a card. You guys are it's going to be a question about black culture or the black community. You guys are going to answer it, and depending on the card itself, some of them are majority rules, some of them have a correct answer already stipulated on them. You lose or gain a black card. Okay, so I'm going to go first.
And we also have decided we're going to keep a running tally of the number of black cards.
I'm at 0.
Brooke, well, you start with 2.
Oh, okay.
So
I get a fresh start?
You get a fresh start with 2. And then I am the reigning champion.
And so I should,
4 black cards.
I should specify each round we start with 2.
Yeah.
Play 2 rounds. So I could end up back at 0 again. So.
Or you could end up at -2.
It's
Not
true.
0.
It's true. Okay, alright. First one. You witness a fight. Nope, we did this one last week. Moving on. Edit that out. Who is the baddest reality show chick on television?
Oh, yes.
A. Evelyn Lozada. B. Portia Williams. C. Kenya Moore.
Oh, my God.
D. Rashida Frost.
I think all of those are wrong.
I think that
This is
this
majority rules,
was
so I get to-
truly picked for me. This question was picked for
I
me.
get to be the tiebreaker. This is majority rules.
You know, I'm gonna pick Kenya. I mean, no, Portia.
Wait, we both answer?
We both
Yeah.
answer.
What if we have the same answer? We can't pick the
If
same?
you have the same answer, then we move on. But so if you guys agree, we move on to it.
Let's move on to a new
Shoot.
question because
You got.
I
Brooke-
picked Portia too.
Brooke has indoctrinated me.
I was gonna say Portia.
She's indoctrinated me
Okay.
into what is that called?
Atlanta. Real
Atlanta.
Housewives of Atlanta.
Exactly.
You know you love that show.
I love Candy.
Do you know?
I mean, yeah, I love Candy.
Well, Candy is the best, but you
She's the
love
best.
everybody. You love that show. You can't deny it. Yeah, whatever.
Okay, what's
Brooke
that?
is peeling back the layers.
I am. I'll tell you all the details.
Okay, next card. Best blue-eyed soul singer.
Oh, I already know.
And this is majority rule, so I get to be the tiebreaker.
Do you have?
Let me give you the list.
Oh, don't. Can I get my answer in before you give hers?
What?
Okay, just read it.
A. Best blue-eyed soul singer.
Uh-huh.
A. Sam Smith. B. Adele. C. Robin Thicke. D. Justin Timberlake.
I'm gonna go.
Oh.
I'm gonna say E. What's the name? I'm gonna say E. Hall & Oates.
What? Wait, what?
I think the only one on that list that qualifies is Adele, and she's a blue-eyed pop singer. Is what I'd say.
No, I pick.
I mean, no, she's a blue-eyed soul singer. The rest were blue-eyed pop, is what I meant to say.
Well, Justin Timberlake. So
Justin Timberlake.
Yeah,
Don't play-
no,
don't
he
play
does
Casey.
have some
You're
soul.
right, but he
Don't play
did
it.
take a boy band detour, which I'm not.
But then he came back.
Okay,
back to
come
us.
on.
I'm
People
not saying
gotta
that
make
Hall &
money.
Oates
You have to
started-
make money.
And I'm not talking about she's a rich girl. I'm not
Yeah,
talking
what
about
are you
that.
talking
I'm
about,
talking about
though?
old school stuff that Brooke doesn't.
No, like what song?
I'm
Give us
talking
an
about the-
example.
Okay, Brooke, what's your answer?
I pick Adele.
Adele?
Yeah.
Okay, what is it? Majority rules. so I have to be the tiebreaker. I really don't like adding choices to the cards, so I'm gonna side.
Oh my god!
Also, get an honorable mention on that one. All right, so we're gonna go.
So hold
Wait,
on.
so
I have to give my black card to
Yeah, you
Brooke.
have to give the black card to Brooke. So right
Who
now,
would have ever
I
thought?
don't know
just
if I
finished
even
the
like
first
this.
round. Brooke is at 3 black cards. Jared's at 1, and I'm still hanging on to 2. Just barely.
Wait, I thought she asked one now, right?
Yeah, she asked.
I asked
Oh
one
yeah,
now.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So take the card.
Which is
Okay. Which is what?
Nothing.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Say it.
read the question.
Okay, it's a correct answer
Okay,
wins.
so there's already a correct answer on the card.
Okay, according to Mama, what does it mean if your ear keeps itching? A, you need to wash. B, someone is talking about you. C, you need to see a doctor. Or D, you're about to fall in love.
I have never heard anyone,
Are you serious?
anyone in the black community say this.
Oh, okay.
See, I think this is more of a country thing, and Brooke is very country.
Dude, I did know this answer. I
Right.
can't deny. I
See,
knew
all my-
it.
If your ears
Side-
itching, I think I can't remember if it's someone thinking about you or falling
I
in
think it's
love.
somebody's talking about. So
I think
my
it's someone's
black
talking
side
about
of the
you.
family is from the Midwest. I don't know none of this. Like,
Yeah.
They don't say stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with somebody's talking about you.
Same.
That's right. You're both right.
Okay.
Okay. So you get to ask another one because we tied.
Okay.
You can pull it.
Oh, okay. Okay, this is majority rules. Wait, so does that mean I choose?
Yeah,
You
for
get to be the
this.
tiebreaker.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Unless we agree, and then you just move on.
Okay. When he sings, it makes you want to fall in love with somebody. Okay.
What are the choices?
These are the choices. Barry White, Luther Vandross? Dross? I don't know.
What?
You don't know- hold on.
I don't know how to say
She's
that.
flipping a card. The rules of our game
Do you not
dictate
know
that she loses a card on that one.
Honestly, I
No.
think that's your fault if you're not playing.
No, whoa.
That could be true. I side with Chance on that one. That's your fault. It's all your fault.
Right now.
No, I disagree. First of all,
No.
we are going to fact check that later for the phone a friend. We're going to ask her if she knows who Luther Vandross
Oh yeah,
is.
we could do that.
Secondly, and we're going to be doing it on the phone so she can't Google him real quick. Secondly, Brooke, you
What?
should come into this world knowing who Luther Vandross is. Look, go
Oh,
ahead.
okay.
So, what are the choices again?
Barry White,
Okay.
Luther Vandross, Teddy Pendergrass, and Marvin Gaye.
Luther Vandross.
I'm going to say Barry White.
Luther Vandross.
Did I have to say who I want to win?
Yeah.
You. I don't know how we can do
She
that.
picks,
You-
and she didn't know who Luther Vandross
Yeah,
was.
I mean, I guess you can pick your own, but that kind of defeats the purpose. So you kind of want to do a tiebreaker because you don't really gain anything. by
Yeah, so
doing
like I pick one that y'all pick.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I pick. Okay, I'm really sorry, Chance, but I'm gonna go with Barry White.
I mean, a black card.
it.
Chance, for
I'm
those keeping
sorry.
score at home, Chance is now a -1 black card.
Brooke was not familiar with the subject matter of Luther Vandross. If she was,
I
Well,
might have
actually,
picked
it's
it.
not-
not-
on my
Chance, you're not a -1. You just don't get the chance to get 2 now. Is what
Right.
you're- Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Here we go. Brooke
Right.
has somehow inexplicably has 3 black cards.
Brooke is a white woman.
I don't know yet.
Very white.
Is winning.
Okay, here we go. Okay.
Wait, first, is it majority rules or is there a correct answer?
Oh gosh.
Majority rules.
Okay, cool.
So I'll pick. Who is the best female soul singer of all time? Here are your choices. Patti LaBelle, Aretha Franklin, Etta James, Anita Baker.
So
Oh
I
my
just want to
gosh.
say that Jared is just such a loyal and loving boyfriend that it honestly doesn't matter what either of us says. He's going to side with Brooke.
I don't
you
know.
chose.
He's pretty competitive, and considering I'm beating him, he might not.
I'm gonna go with Etta James.
I think Aretha
I
Franklin.
mean, Brooke had the right answer anyway, so it's not even that. Chance still with 0 black cards. Brooke inexplicably with 4 black cards, and I have 2. So Brett brings the running total. Brooke has 4. I have 6. Jasmine, in her absence, still has 2. Chance, trying to get on the board.
Jasmine, if you
Aw,
want to donate
Chance.
some black cards for this, I would appreciate it.
Oh my gosh. And now we've decided we used to have a segment called shout outs, but to keep with the, I guess, theme of the show, we're going to actually, instead of just handing out shout outs, because I mean everyone hands out shout outs,
Right,
like
right.
I'm shouting out Kiki, you know, what's up on the radio. We're going to be handing, or not handing, but giving and taking back black cards. And white people can get these too, black people can get these too. It's
Right.
just, it's shout outs with some branding.
Right.
So I'm going to give my black card this week to Rian Johnson, who is the director and the entire cast of the last Star Wars movie, for really just having the ambition to make a Star Wars movie that was risky, I feel. Brooke hasn't seen this. Brooke does not like...
I'm not
You gonna
into
drop some
Star
spoilers?
Wars.
You gonna drop some
I'm not going to
spoilers?
drop
Okay.
spoilers. I'm just going to tell you, for those of
We're
you...
gonna have a spoiler episode, maybe.
You know what? Yeah, we'll have a
That's a good
special
idea.
edition Star Wars up. For those who are into Star Wars, I will warn you, this will probably be the most discussed Star Wars movie you'll ever see. Everyone's going to have their opinions and feel it, but I enjoyed it. I like that they took the risk that they did, and I just, Ryan, here's a black card on me. I feel that. I feel that you really did your thing with that, and I'm excited to see what you do with your trilogy.
Wait, but for those of us who aren't really into it, can you explain to us why it is going to be so discussed? Like,
Okay.
what risks did they take?
Well, yeah,
Have you?
without
Well, first, what Star Wars have you seen?
zero.
Zero.
She doesn't.
You've seen none.
I've tried to watch one and fell asleep in
Which
the
one did you
theater.
try to watch?
I have no idea. I'm sorry. I'm really
Okay,
sorry.
so-
Uphill battle here, Jared.
So for me, it was like without getting into the specifics, there was a lot of things they could have done. Like it could have just been a standard, it's really hard to do this without getting into spoilers. It could have just been a standard run-of-the-mill, progress the plot forward movie.
Okay.
But they really did some storytelling changes, not changes, but like risk maybe. They actually did some the camera work. There were some scenes and the way things were shot that weren't typical of a Star Wars movie. There were some themes that they explored that are explored in Star Wars all the time, but the way they explored it, I feel like they even personified and gave a physicality to some aspects of things in Star Wars that I just feel like honestly could have gone horribly. Or I don't think they went horribly, but I feel like as fanboys, Star Wars is the most like, no, this is how the Force works. No, this is what happens. This is who, blah, blah, blah. And the fact that Rian Johnson was like, I'm going to make my movie and you're going to like it. That's what I feel.
I feel like they explored humor a little bit more too. Like Star Wars.
There's a lot of humor, yeah.
Never like delved into like your mother
People-
jokes or anything.
Well,
like
you're
that.
right. Your mother jokes. It never
Yeah.
delved into your mother
Yeah.
jokes. But
It was like modern, like
the OG
humor of this galaxy.
The OG movies had Ewoks, so it's hard for me to say there's no humor in it, but we'll save that for the Star Wars podcast. That's who I'm giving my black card to.
I'm gonna shout out the 35,000 quote Blackitty blacks unquote that were trucked into DC, escorted by Obama, Megatron, and Black Panther, so that they could double vote out Roy Moore in the Alabama Senate race. So, congratulations to y'all. Thank y'all for conspiring. Shout out Doug Jones.
Yeah,
But to be clear, by the way, none of that was true.
Yeah, that's what I was about to
just
say.
a white
Hopefully-
conspiracy theory that I feel like perpetuating because it's hilarious.
exactly. Although that's a great black card to give out though, because that was monumental. That was
Yeah,
I was on the news. Like I saw headlines that literally read "Black women saved Alabama" on like CNN and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm glad
How long
people.
have they been a red state?
25 years,
Yeah,
26,
so
27.
That's huge. That's
Wow.
huge.
That's huge. And they said the black vote was stronger in Alabama than it was even when Obama was running.
Mm.
That's how crazy this was.
Mm.
Which is really Brooke, did you keep up with the Roy Moore stuff at all? Or
Yeah.
it's just one of those things. I feel like it's almost common sense. Like I'm glad the black vote showed up, but I also wanted the state vote to show up against a guy who's accused of pedophilia. I
Right.
feel like we should all.
Exactly. There were tons of people. I'm willing to bet. I don't have any facts to back this, but I'm willing to bet there are tons of people who are like, "Well, I'm voting for the party." I don't care if
Oh,
the
for
kids or not."
sure.
Like,
Yeah.
come on, man.
For sure. I mean, how do you think Trump got elected?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
Everyone's getting fired for these allegations, yet what?
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
And I actually saw people tweeting like, voted for party, grown women who heard this man say that he was grabbing people by the pussy.
Oh my gosh.
It's disgusting behavior.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, shout out everyone who voted in the Alabama Senate race. You guys did the damn thing. So.
Really, I really appreciate that. Okay, Brooke, you came in. Unfortunately, we're not doing shout outs anymore. But we're hoping you have a Brooke card to give out to somebody.
Sure. Okay, so I'm giving my Brooke card to the whole cast of Lady Bird.
Okay.
I don't know if y'all have seen that movie.
I haven't seen it. I've seen trailers. I'm very intrigued.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
So
it reminds me of like Juno, but less dark.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Incorrect.
it does have a little bit of darkness. It's kind of more like, okay, did you see The Edge of 17?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so it's kind of like The Edge of 17, but more realistic and a little bit more depressing.
Yeah.
Or like a
Really?
depressing mood, kind of.
Interesting.
But that's what I like. I
They made
like
it seem
drama. It's a drama,
It's
for
a drama,
sure.
okay.
Yeah.
But it is also funny.
Yeah, it's kind of like a dark.
It's just your standard coming of age, but over very realistic.
Like the awkward stuff that teenagers do.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the very serious and solemn things that teenagers
Right,
do.
but
Yeah.
done very, very well.
And I'll say this.
I plan to see it.
It really focused a lot on the relationship between mother and daughter.
I got that feeling.
Yeah, and so as a daughter, it really struck a chord, and I cried even on the way home.
Yeah.
Like sobbed, like I couldn't even speak.
I saw it with her, and I can attest to that. I felt like I had to scrape her up off the floor.
Yeah, it
She
was-
was eating leftover popcorn. She's like, really?
Yeah, it really hit me hard, but that's my favorite kind of movie where I laugh and cry. So I liked it.
For those in Houston, we actually went and saw that at the River Oaks Theater, which I actually kind of recommend to people. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's old, and I mean,
How much tickets?
standard.
Standard.
$15, $10.
A little cheaper than
Yeah.
that, but you're not gonna pay $25 to see anything in there.
But they only show indie films, right? Wouldn't you say
indie,
that?
critically acclaimed
Yeah.
type stuff. Yeah, you're not gonna go catch Star Wars. They honestly might be showing Star Wars just because it's Star Wars, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
But I will say this: it's like they turned the balcony into 2 screens, so if you go upstairs for a movie, it's tiny. But if you're in the
Intimate.
big theater downstairs,
It's
it's
huge.
huge, and the ceilings are so high. It's really a good atmosphere.
The way it's like built and constructed, it almost looks like those old school, like where they have like plays and operas.
Mm.
'Cause
Yeah.
there's ornate stuff on the sides, and I feel like it was at one point this really extravagant movie theater, but
Hmm.
you know they've retooled it, so now they've got 3 screens. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's cool.
I'll have to check it out.
You should take your girl on a date.
All right, are we going to dive into the nonsense that was this
Let's get
social
into
media
this week.
phenomenon?
Let's get into this week. And the biggest thing, I don't think anyone who exists hasn't seen this by now. What's that kid's name? I don't even know.
Keaton? That's the family's name. I can't remember the
That's
kid's,
right,
the
isn't it?
mother's name.
Is it
I
Keaton
don't know.
Jones?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my
The
gosh.
bullied kid. That's who we're
And
talking about.
Just full disclosure, I still have not seen that whole video.
I couldn't watch it.
It's just
I saw it.
I watched maybe the very beginning, and I couldn't do it. I can't watch. I couldn't.
So, for those who don't know what you're talking about, and I guess we're in a coma this past week, on the internet, there was this big, huge hubbub. This mom posts, I guess they were driving home from school with her son Keaton.
From what I understand, there was an incident at the school. The mother came to the school to address the incident, and she took the kid out of school. Keaton Jones is the child's name.
Right,
Now,
he was
I
being
feel-
bullied, right?
Absolutely. And I feel for the kid because, no one should have to deal with that. School is already hard enough.
And that's what initially caused the virality of it, right? Is you got this kid just like, why are people bullying me? I just don't understand. The standard kind of.
And I think
Picked on kid
didn't he
stuff.
say something at the end that was like really everyone was saying was so profound? Or
Yeah, he
no, what
said-
did he say?
Well, he was talking about bullying in general. That people, because someone is different, because people don't understand that or that doesn't fit into what their idea of someone is, that we're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
that it's not okay to make people feel unwanted or uncomfortable.
Oh, okay.
And he was like
true stuff.
It is true. It's absolutely
Valid.
true, and it was profound to hear from a kid, struggling in a situation where it would be easy for him to just focus on his own situation. He's, not only is he upset about what he's having to deal with, he's, having the realization that there are, thousands, if not, hundreds of thousands of kids around the country, around the world, who deal with this, and it's not fair.
Yeah.
And so that struck a chord. But
And
then,
hold on, but it got huge. It wasn't
Yeah.
just people sharing on Facebook. You had celebrities
Yeah.
saying like, "Oh, I'll be Keaton's friend. I'll hang out with them."
I think Mark Ruffalo invited him to the red carpet release.
Yes.
LeBron was sending out his support, stuff like that. You're right. The red carpet, there was red carpet releasing people they wanted him to come to. And then what happens as it always happens, Chance?
So, and this is the thing about the internet. No one is innocent.
No.
No one is innocent. Delete your tweets.
Yeah.
Jared
If you
Jared said
put
that.
it on there, it never goes away.
Jared said that back in episode 1.
Exactly.
I wanna echo that. Delete your tweets. So they're looking at this woman's Facebook page. Let me back up. So yeah, there are celebrities who are like, they're pouring out support for this guy, for this kid, inviting him to all of these opportunities that, the average person wouldn't necessarily get to go to because they feel terrible for him. A third party who was not directly associated or related to the family started a GoFundMe that racked up like $50,000.
Good chunk of change.
Pretty early on. And then people start exploring who this woman is, just out of curiosity. They go on her Facebook page. They find, pictures of her having her children pose with Confederate flags and saying things like, stop whining about the Confederacy. If you're not bleeding, you don't have bones sticking out, and you're breathing, you got nothing to cry about. So I don't, and I didn't take the time because I really just didn't want to have this woman's like social media content in my psyche. But from what I've read, I don't know that she said anything directly racist, but she said things that are problematic for the black community.
Right. She definitely alluded to
She
it.
wasn't, like,
I mean,
firing off N-bombs on Twitter or anything, but
Right,
she alluded, absolutely,
Yeah.
she alluded to racist sentiments. And so it really, I think like 5 or 6 years ago, if this happened, it would have just been Keaton Jones, come to the red carpet. But, now with the amount of information we have access to with social media, now we really look at situations like this from all sides, and it's kind of messy. It's kind of a gray area.
Yeah.
I feel terrible for the child, but his mother is not absolutely genuine in this situation either. She's kind of a
right.
hypocrite.
I mean, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where like I said, on the delete your tweets, just in the broader perspective, you really never know what's just gonna happen online. I'm sure she wanted that to get some play, right? But when you post some attention online, but when you post something, you never know what you post. If you post a tweet, it's gonna get 100,000 shares, and then everyone is going to be looking through everything you've ever posted online, right? And so that's
hard. They will have bots trying to
right.
Like, did you post on Reddit? Did you say something
Just
weird on
bulk
Reddit one
downloading
time?
every photo
Exactly.
you posted. So it's just always, I feel like this happens more and more, that Cam Newton with the whole, it's funny with you see a woman talking about routes, the reporter takes offense to it, then you find out the reporter said some racist stuff. It's just one of those things. It's like you've got so much going on, and everyone's under. It's not even just celebrities that are under the microscope now. You've just got common people under the microscope because you never know when you could become viral, even if it's something you kind of were engineering. But
I think the larger thing to take away from this is just take any point that you arrive to based on information you found on the internet with a massive
grain
of salt.
exactly.
Mhm.
Joseph Lamb was the guy who started the third-party GoFundMe account.
Mm-hmm.
He said something I thought was interesting. Condemnation before evaluation is the ultimate form of ignorance. So I feel like that door really swings both ways,
Mhm.
honestly. Like, yes, we were pouring out, support for this kid who was being bullied. And immediately we were like, yeah, come to the red carpet. Here's 50 grand. Let's make your life better. Let's fix this one instance, and hopefully that can inspire people to fix bullying on a broader scale. But then we discover that the mother is kind of a racist hypocrite.
Right.
So while bullying is terrible in situations where, the content is engineered to make you feel something and to evoke an emotional response, let's slow down and take a step back and try to look at the situation from all sides before we, make a emotional and mental decision about what's going on.
And that was the very thought-provoking, mature perspective to take from all of this. My advice is just to delete your tweets. I know most people are going to continue to be racist and say stupid stuff or immature stuff they did. If you just delete all of that before you go viral, you ain't got to worry about it.
You can prop up whatever you want, because that is the only information anyone can see.
It's just make all your stuff just like a permanent Snapchat. I've done some horrible things on Snapchat, but no one's ever going to know about them because
Brooke was the victim, I think, of some.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, but speaking on that, I'm glad we're on this thread because, Brooke, you're currently listening to an audiobook about Tiffany. She wrote it.
Yeah.
Tiffany Haddish, right?
The Last Black Unicorn?
The Last Black Unicorn.
And everyone loves Tiffany. Isn't she just going through a worldwide glow up
She's
right
on,
now, right?
She is, yes.
I think everyone genuinely is happy for her success. But she ran into some stuff. Brooke, fill us in on some of the controversy surrounding her book right now.
Okay, so I've only read one chapter, the first chapter, and as I'm reading it or listening to it because it's on audiobook, I'm thinking, okay, this doesn't seem legit.
So I don't mean to interrupt you, but that's interesting because in one of her Go Live Instagram segments, she said that there was some really outlandish stuff in the book, but that she felt, and I'm quoting here, that in the audiobook, because she was the one who was doing the audiobook, that she really got some of those things right.
Yes.
So you're saying that in the audiobook, there are still some really ridiculous things.
Yeah. Well, it just to me seems very elaborated. So I think probably what happened is the stories are correct, but in order to make them more dramatic and funnier in her way, she has, yes. Yeah. And I think she got caught in some of her stuff, and so now she's coming on saying, oh, I don't know, they must have changed the book. And I just am like, why not just say... Yeah. And it just seems like there's a better explanation than she didn't see the final draft of the book.
Exactly. The book is published by Simon & Schuster. They have no history of ever, there are tons of publishers who've had editorial scandals where they're like, I gave you a manuscript and you just completely changed the book. This is unacceptable. There's been litigation. Simon & Schuster has no history of that ever happening. So I'm having a really hard time believing she turned in a manuscript that said one thing and they just made up all this shit about real people.
Yeah.
That was going to, tarnish their image.
Yeah. Well, and she talks so much in the first chapter alone about how she really used comedy to get people to like her and to get friends and all this stuff. So I feel like she just did that in her book as well.
So give me an example of some of the stuff
Well,
let's talk specifically about what's caused the main controversy.
Well, the main controversy is that her ex-husband, who she divorced and got married to him, divorced him, got married again, divorced again. Yeah. So the main issue is that the book talks about physical abuse. And her ex-husband is now coming on saying, I never put hands on her, that never happened. Right. So in her video where she's saying, I don't know, they changed some stuff, she never actually addresses any specific issues, which that's why it makes me think if it really was something serious that you thought was wrong, you would address it specifically.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I watched her go live Instagram videos where she was like, man, like, people are really blowing this out of proportion. You know, I feel like maybe the editor fluffed some of this stuff up. I feel like I got it right. But she's being very vague. Mm-hmm. So I love receipts, just in case any screenshots, actual receipts, proof of employment. I love all that. So what I'm saying is, she, as the author of the book, I have no doubt she still has a copy of the manuscript. Post the manuscript.
Yeah.
Like anywhere. I don't care. Post screenshots of it on Twitter. Anywhere. Set the record straight if this isn't what happened. But I absolutely agree with you. I feel like maybe she's in denial. She's trying to do damage control, and she's trying to pass off this story that Simon & Schuster fluffed up her story, which I'm having a hard time believing.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I love her. She's hilarious. Absolutely. I will finish the book. I will read it all. But do I think maybe she's a little fluffier, fluffing things up herself? Yes. But I love the girl.
Yeah, and that's the thing. She's a great storyteller.
Yeah.
She's really good at telling stories, and she's got so many of them. I did find, even before the book, I find myself wondering, man, some of these sound a little bit too good to be true. Like, no one's life is just consistently that outlandish and interesting. But you thought, maybe it is, and that's why but I'm just more inclined to believe that she, just like she said in the book, to get people to like her, she's willing to tell a few stories.
The problem here, though, is it's at someone's expense.
Yeah, exactly. That's when it really crosses a line.
And I feel like, honestly, and she did just now get insanely popular. So I feel like I know a lot of people in my life that have just said stuff that I knew probably was BS and would continue to say that. And if they all of a sudden got super popular, a lot more people would be like, okay, it was okay when you were just saying that to, like, our friends at parties and stuff, but now you're on Jimmy Kimmel talking about this. We need to fact check some of this stuff. So she's insanely popular. Everyone's always hearing her stories, and she's always telling her stories. I'm sure a lot of her friends are like, okay, Tiffany, I know you said you used to have a pretend parrot named Cracker that you always talked about at school, but no one remembers that.
And everybody knows somebody who is like constantly lying, but they're saying, like, they're retelling a story, and you're like, dude, that's not how that went down. Yeah. But you just let them do it because that's just how they are as a person, But
which I feel is what Tiffany is getting caught in right now, unfortunately. I still love her. I'm still gonna check her stuff out.
Unrelated story. Last week, Jared and I played basketball, and I just balled him up. Wasn't even.
See, this is an example of someone tough. Like, no way.
And these are good friends, and they let me do it. What you're trying to convey is that your friends will let you lie sometimes to add dimension. That's all I'm saying.
I will post receipts of that in the.
You have the stats?
I've got text. I wrote down some stuff. We'll show it up. It'll be bonus material online. But it's funny, like, we're in this age where everyone's accusing people of things, or allegations are flying left and right. There was one I thought was particularly interesting because it kind of happened in a weird, I don't want to, the community is not weird, but it was just a weird scenario and how it happened. A lot of people have heard of Melanie Martinez, and she's this kind of like almost alternative pop, basically Lana Del Rey with a diaper on music artist.
Is she really well known, or is she more in like an indie, like underground?
Well,
I think I would say an underground.
I'm not trying to be.
She's not like Beyonce. She's not Beyonce or anything.
I really had to do some googling on.
She was on The Voice.
Okay.
So any fans of The Voice could see her, but she is definitely different. She's not like your typical pop singer.
Right. It's I like the way it's like she's not largely popular, but in her niche, like, segment of music, she's insanely popular. Does that make sense? Yeah. Like, her fans aren't just casual. I like her fans. There are people who are like, oh, I love Melanie Martinez. She stands for everything I believe in.
Gotcha.
And her song subject matter is about, like, messed up families and overcoming abuse, and just all that good stuff. And as lovingly as possible, call it the Tumblr pop crowd, like the girls who are like posting it.
Black Twitter calls that septum piercing.
Oh, wow, exactly. But exactly. So she was accused by her old friend Timothy Heller of rape. I mean, that's...
To clarify that Timothy Heller is a woman, if you weren't aware.
Yeah, right. Timothy Heller is a woman. Her given name is Timothy. And she was accused by Timothy of, I mean, just to put, there's no really other way to put it, of raping her, right? Of coercing her into sexual activity.
She basically outed her on Twitter with a long post detailing the whole event, really, and how it had gone on for a couple of days, and she had just basically pressured her into having sex.
Right, and how she repeatedly had said, I don't want to do this, my boyfriend will like this, I'm not feeling it, blah, 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 blah. And so just from that point, I think it was crazy because this is not demeaning in any way. I'm on Tumblr all the time. In that community, like anytime there's an accusation of sexual impropriety, they are the first, and for just cause, I feel. Honestly. To jump and say like all men are trash, this guy, of course this would happen.
Yeah.
And there's some extremes of that, but overall, I definitely am down with the vibe. Like, I'm against victim shaming. You know what I mean? I want to hear victims out, but we were now in a situation where the accuser was kind of from them. You know what I mean? Was a role model they had, and I felt almost instantly there was a split. There were some people who were like, yes, women can do this too. You should still stick up for Timothy and hear her out. And then there were some who were clearly like, no, Melanie wouldn't do this. Yeah. Timothy is just probably just like a super fan that got out of hand with, right? Which is, I don't know. You look at the situation. So Timothy, there was like, quote unquote, best friends with her, but she was definitely obsessed, which I just think it leads credence to what she was describing, because I think Melanie took that for advantage. But anyway, so you're already looking at a community that's kind of split. Then you've got Melanie's reaction to it. Did y'all all see this?
Yeah.
Melanie, it's like, I guess she doesn't have PR. We found out that first episode that porn actresses have a PR team.
Oh my gosh.
But apparently, Brooke. Yeah, but apparently Melanie Martinez doesn't have PR.
Right.
Because literally,
worst possible.
She wrote, she never said no. And you're just like, whoa.
Yeah, like that.
That's the worst possible way to phrase that. Like, my goodness, Melanie. I feel that was so tone deaf. It also caused it was just interesting. What did you see online, Brooke? What was your reaction to, like, first of all, a woman-on-woman, rape allegation, and then just how people responded?
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked, honestly.
Yeah.
But I'm not, I guess, this is sad to say, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
And I think you were talking about it the other day, and you explained it best, and I can't remember your exact words.
Okay.
But you were saying kind of like what you already said, was she was a fan, and maybe Melanie just didn't realize that she was, or no. Timothy didn't realize that she didn't want it until after the fact, maybe?
Well, I felt like it was she was kind of excusing Melanie's behavior. She was so caught up in Melanie and what Melanie wanted as a friend and as a fan of hers that she was just like, I don't really want this, but what, you get what I'm saying? And it wasn't until she was removed from that relationship that she could see things clearly. I see that happen all the time.
I was about to say that happens all the time. Sadly.
Time. And maybe it's not, I'm not saying it's like rape allegations, but there's something that's going wrong within the relationship, right? And people excuse it. Oh no, blah, 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 this is this. And then afterwards, when they're seeing clearly, they're just like, what was I doing? So that's what I think happened to Timothy. She was in a bad place, and now, so I'm not even questioning the validity, just the reaction from Melanie, and then just the community I thought was just like, wow, we really are living in a different world where now gray is gray, black is white, blue is purple, stuff you know what I mean? It was just honestly amazed. Chance, did you see anything, or were you kind of like, I feel like you're coming from a kind of outsider's perspective on the whole thing.
I mean, I looked into it when we were doing prep for the show. What I thought was interesting was I thought her statement was interesting, that she didn't say no so I felt like I might have had implied consent. And so I was talking about that with my girlfriend, and literally we were literally laying in bed one afternoon, like after having just woken up from a nap, and I was like, I didn't ask to take a nap, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We just started taking a nap. So I mean, it could be, you could say that I didn't have consent. You didn't say no.
Okay.
You know, we're in a very intimate situation right now.
Okay.
And you could say after the fact that maybe I took advantage of that situation. I feel like it's really hard to navigate that in a practical sense when you have a close relationship with someone.
Yeah.
Like, do you ask to hold Brooke's hand? You know what I mean? Every time you hold her hand, do you ask?
Here's what
before you kiss her on the cheek?
here's what I'll say about that, and that's a good point. Let's say I'm walking with Brooke, and I like reach to hold her hand, and she kind of does like one of these, you know. You can't see what I did, but like she kind of like
She moves her hand away.
fidgets her hand something, and then I like try to wrap my arm around her, and she drops down and tie her shoe or something like that, and then I like grab her by the waist, and she finally just.
No, that's
like,
absolutely forceful.
you get what I'm saying, or even I just grab her hand, and she finally just reluctantly has it. And then if someone asks me, did Brooke want to hold your hand? I'll be like, she didn't say no. But Brooke's perspective will be like, of course I didn't want to hold your hand. I let it happen because you were so insistent on it.
Right.
And that's obviously pales in comparison to sexual,
that's
abuse. But I think it's of a similar vein in that it's such a gray area. Because from one perspective, I was like, I was just doing what it took to hold her hand. And from her perspective, she was like, he was not seeing any of the signs that I did not want him to hold my hand.
Strictly about the concept of like, she didn't say no, therefore I had consent. I think it's like a very scary logical fallacy.
Yeah.
People fall victim to. But more importantly, it was like her reaction. So reportedly, 2 hours after she wrote up this whole letter. She didn't say Melanie's name. Timothy wrote this whole letter. She didn't say Melanie's name. Then she posted on Twitter, and she was like, originally I wasn't going to say who this was about. This is about Melanie Martinez.
Right.
2 hours later, after having not spoken to Melanie Martinez reportedly for over a year, she gets a phone call from Melanie Martinez.
Oh, really? I didn't hear about
I didn't know that either.
It was in one of the interviews she gave for CNN, I think.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's like, why are you calling? Like, we haven't spoken over a year. Like, if this isn't true, you know what I mean?
I feel that.
Go talk to your lawyer. Go get a PR person.
Did she answer?
No, she said reportedly that she blocked the call immediately.
Okay.
That's for good cause, I think.
So, yeah, that kind of like, that shows guilt from my point of view. Like, you haven't spoken to someone in over a year, and now you're just gonna say you're calling out of the blue, which she did say. Like, her response was like, yeah, she was on my mind. No, I'm sorry. Let me back up. So she called her 2 hours after the Twitter post, and then when she realized she got blocked, she called Timothy's boyfriend, and he answered the phone because he wasn't fully aware of what was going on at the time.
Yeah.
And reportedly, she said something like, yeah, I just had a dream about Timothy, and so I just wanted to call her and like reconnect. And, like,
Oh no, that changes things. That's not.
That sounds fishy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just.
And do you think? Well, no, because there's no. I was thinking maybe she was like trying to protect the boyfriend and not like get him involved. But
no, he was.
It's out there. Yeah, I mean it's out there and for all the world to see. So of course he knew.
Reportedly, before she had even posted the letter, she had long discussions with her boyfriend about what had happened. She felt terrible about it.
Yeah.
You know, so he was well aware. There was
Yeah.
no protecting him.
On just a different note, I actually found out Timothy was a lead singer in a band called Dresses that I really liked. And I just didn't even know, so I played more part of it than I even thought I would. You know what I'm saying? There's more, but I just think in the community, it was just interesting to see how they reacted and see these allegations are affecting everybody.
Yeah, it's rare, but it does happen. There are women who rape other women. There are men who rape other men. It's not uncommon.
Yeah.
But
It's rare.
I think it's always good. I feel or interesting to look at like how different things affect certain communities, and a community I felt that was united in hatred against one person this week was the black female in America against Omarosa, whatever her last name is, I don't even know. But Omarosa, the former reality show contestant on The Apprentice hosted by Donald Trump, was removed from the White House and there's these differing opinions on or details on what actually happened. But I online, did y'all see this? It was shocking to me and I don't like Omarosa, but just to see every black female news anchor just
Professional
right.
media professionals going out of their way to drag Omarosa Migos.
Mango, yeah, that's what it is. Literally, just Robin Roberts. That's the first one I saw. Robin Roberts, just in disgust, just in disgust, was like, "Yeah, I'm sure she has a story to tell."
And there was like no pomp and circumstance. It was just like, "Oh, bye, Felicia."
Bye,
On to the
Felicia.
next segment. Oh my God! This woman has been in news for like 20 years.
Exactly. Yeah, it doesn't get more professional than Robin Roberts. And then you see on, I can't believe I forgot her name.
On CNN, Angela Rye.
Angela Rye on CNN just literally said, "I'm going to be petty right now," and go in and just starts laughing and just cracking up.
That was so.
And they all just start.
Like, we don't own you like Zora, your skin folk.
Oh my
like,
goodness,
oh my God,
goodness
she just said it
gracious.
from CNN.
So I feel I'm not going to say too much on it just because I am not a black female myself. But I do think I'm gonna, in Jasmine's absence, I think we gotta officially take Omarosa's black card. I think it's
we've had discussions with Jazz in the show prep. She agrees that Omarosa needs to lose her black card.
This is
black. She can add more detail when she's here next week.
Exactly. This is Black Weekend official, guys. That running tally. The first one, major player to lose a card is Omarosa Migos.
Yeah.
Sorry, Omarosa. But on a lighter note, people who aren't losing their black card this week, in my opinion, are Migos. Migos they show the final the casting.
So let's fill our listeners in on the beef if you don't already know.
Let's fill Brooke in. I don't know if Brooke
I don't think I know.
Okay, so do you know who Migos is?
Of course.
Does she
Okay.
know
Yes.
who Migos
Do you
is?
know who Joe Budden is?
No.
Okay, Joe Budden is a New York rapper. He was like kind of big in like the early 2000s. He had a
Right.
song called "Pump It Up." Do you remember that? From Too Fast, Too Furious.
Oh no.
Okay, so that's pretty much
No.
most people when they hear Joe Budden, they're like, okay, yeah, I remember that song.
Okay.
Member of a rap group called Slaughterhouse. To be fair, he's a great mixtape rapper, but he's never had anywhere near the following that Migos has.
Not even
Never.
close. Not even close.
So, okay, back in May 2017 this year, on his show Everyday Struggle, which is a show, I believe I don't know what channel it's on, but I know that Complex Magazine is like the sponsor or whatever of the show. Budden brings on Lil Yachty. He has a conversation with Lil Yachty about, what it was like to go to the Met Gala, and just immediately starts flying off the handle. Like, cause Lil Yachty like kind of gives him like a one-word answer. He's not very talkative, and it's clear that Joe Budden's getting frustrated. So then out of nowhere, he's just shouting at him. He's like, "Based on your response, I feel like you're not media trained."
Oh
Are
my
you media
god.
trained? He's like barking at him. And so then like at some point, Joe Budden's like really heated. He asks him about like his level of happiness as a rapper. Like, are you happy? So he's like, yeah, I'm happy. I'm a black man. I've got red hair, and I just went to the Met Gala. They don't let people in like that. And as soon as he says he's happy, Joe Budden just flies off the handle. He's like, that's bullshit. You're not happy. You can't ever be happy. To be successful, you have to be unsatisfied. Like all this shit.
Whoa.
And so whatever. Needless to say, Lil Yachty like never associated with Joe Budden
Well,
again,
yeah.
until, which I'm about to get to.
Oh gosh.
So then June 25th, I forget what award show that was.
Who knows?
I
I think it was the BET.
I want to say it was the BET Hip Hop Awards.
Something.
Yeah,
Who
but
cares?
so Everyday Struggle has a setup, entering the event where they're like giving quick interviews and sound bites with rappers who are coming in. DJ Academic is a huge fan of Migos. He invites them to a sit down with the Everyday Struggle cast. And DJ Academics asks a question to Takeoff. Yeah, to Takeoff about how he felt about the running joke that he was left off of Bad and Bougie. Everyone remembers this. This was like a meme for a month. Takeoff answers that, he asks, like, does it look like I was left off Bad and Bougie? But he says it in a way that people don't understand.
For those who don't, I was about to say, for those who haven't seen the video, he said,
They didn't have headphones on. They couldn't hear each other, and so DJ Academic asked like 3 or 4 times. But he says the interview gets nowhere. Joe Budden is clearly frustrated, and then so DJ Academic is wrapping up the interview, and he says, "Hey, glad I could interview you all. Y'all are one of my favorite acts." As soon as Academic says that, Joe Budden stands up, throws his microphone down, walks off the stage. So Migos clearly picks up on the disrespect. They stand up. They're like, what are you trying to do?
Yes, you showed me that. Jared showed me that.
There's a bit of a kind of a physical confrontation. There's no blows thrown. There's not really any shoving, but they're ready to get in each other's face and square up. So that brings us to Wednesday of this past week.
mm-hmm.
Migos on their Instagram posts a snippet of their song Ice Tray,
which is fire, by the way. I think the full song's out by now, but
featuring Lil Yachty.
Oh my gosh, how did I miss this?
There's specifically a line in there where it says, "If y'all hating, call him Joe Budden."
Yeah.
Pussy. And they have a section of the video where they have actors dressed up as the cast of Everyday Struggle. And the name of the show is All Rappers Struggling.
We're gonna have some, like I said.
I'm gonna give them another black card. I'm just going to.
Yeah.
Migos, they get 3.
Migos get
all they need.
Exactly.
I'm gonna give them 4. Lil Yachty should get 1 too.
We're gonna have that. We're gonna have the tally up for everybody on the Tumblr. But also on the Tumblr, I'm gonna show y'all the comparison of DJ Academics and the stand-in. They got the budding guy. They just found a bald-headed, light-skinned dude. The DJ Academic guy.
I was like,
wait, why?
For the video.
Exactly. And that was the thing Joe Budden even said. He said they could have got me on the video. For the video, and you're just like, Budden, come on, man. Take the L and keep it moving. Yeah. I actually love the pettiness.
Me too. It was masterful pettiness. So, to have Yachty on the track, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I actually just love rap beefs in general. Brooke, are there as many pop beefs? What is your favorite? Do pop stars have beefs that you know of?
Yeah.
Wait, are you playing Brooke right now because she's a white woman?
No. Yeah, for real.
Well, it's just that Brooke likes pop music, so I was going to ask her.
Okay, yeah. Obviously everyone knows about Katy Perry and Taylor Swift, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me remind listeners, the official Taylor Swift stance on this show is that she's a snake. Continue.
Yeah, no, we hate her. But I don't like either of them. Yeah. I don't like either of them, but
I was a bit of a Katy Perry fan.
Everyone was,
and then
but
she became she was trying to do this mixed mom motif.
I don't know what she's doing now.
Where she's trying to buddy with the black community.
She's just always doing too much. I can't. There's no other way to put it. She's always trying to just do too much.
This last promo tour, I was like, Katie, what's going on, girl? Everything okay?
I think I feel like she craves the attention, so she'll do anything just for the attention.
But that became a recent thing. Before, she was just your average pop star.
But the people liked.
Yeah, I liked her. She had a song with a Kanye feature that I really
liked.
I forgot all about it.
It was E.T.
Yeah.
I really liked that. I liked Last Friday Night. That was
that album was really good. You can't
But always that California.
With Snoop.
But then she started this the same kind of shit that Miley Cyrus was
yes.
Basically,
yes.
It was kind of like bangers.
Well, she even cut her hair and dyed it blonde like that.
The long stiletto nails.
Yeah.
I'm not
Let me tell you what the problem. Let me fill you in on Katie. Russell Brand messed her up, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
And then to follow that up with Orlando Bloom, he's not a stable guy.
No.
I know absolutely nothing about Orlando Bloom, but I'm slandering him right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you end up dating Travie McCoy, learn your lesson from Katy Perry and just stay with him.
Exactly.
Just stay with him.
It's just one. Okay, well, let me ask you this: Are The Weeknd and Bieber, do they beef? Because they're both.
And I literally saw an interview that Selena Gomez gave, and she was like, "Oh yeah, me and The Weeknd are such good friends."
No.
But that was before they stopped following each other on Instagram.
Selena Gomez is good friends with
who?
Your girl, Taylor Swift.
True that.
Is she part of the Swift posse?
Yeah, they are.
I'm not gonna take nothing away from Selena Gomez, but
Selena Gomez is on the wrong side of history. I feel with just a lot of things.
I would agree with that.
It's just
She's
people
just
are gonna
kind
look
of been
back.
down on her luck a little bit.
Guys, this is an impromptu pop corner with Brooke. We're just gonna drag pop stars.
No, yeah, let's talk about it. Let's get Brooke's opinion on pop stars. We got Selena Gomez. How do you feel about pop stars? Who are pop stars right now? How do you feel about Camila Cabello? What's her name?
Oh, I think she's a snake too.
Really?
Yes.
Because of the Fifth
No,
Harmony
she
betrayal?
left
We need-
Fifth Harmony.
We need
Okay.
like production, but we need to have like a.
There's
when
gonna
she
be a
calls
snake.
somebody a snake. We just have
There's gonna be a hiss drop. Hey, hiss into the microphone. Oh yes. Hold on, let's gotta isolate that. Say hiss again. Okay, that's the official Black Weekend hiss now. Go ahead.
I don't look. I can understand wanting to have your own career as a singer, as a musician, but don't do it up in the middle of a tour. Like I think as out of respect for your other group mates, wait until the end of the tour and then do it.
Here's the thing. I know absolutely nothing about Fifth Harmony, but when it comes to those boy band, girl band things, and that happens on all of them, is it that I feel like the public forgives you if you're the Justin, the Beyonce, the Diana Ross of the group. It's gonna be kind of like bumpy, but they're gonna be like, we were waiting for you. You know what I mean? So like Beyonce, like some people were like, what is she doing? She's trying to be, and now she's Beyonce. Justin left, and
yeah, I was gonna say. Remember, Michelle was trying to take the light.
right. So people are scrambling to be the first. Like Zayn left. I can't believe I know this.
Malik.
Zayn left One Direction
Uh-huh.
first, but was he the Justin of One Direction? I thought that was Harry.
No, and that's the thing. There's a way you can do it and it be okay, a little bit better than the way that Camilla did it, because she really was just acting like she was so salty against all of them and ungrateful for the start that they had given her. I mean, hello, show a little bit of respect at least.
I guess. I feel you. I actually, though, ventured onto, it's called Pop Heads on Reddit. And they're Camilla stans. Like, they feel like...
They like her?
Yeah, they call the rest of the Fifth Harmony members Trump supporters.
Oh my god.
There's another, like, derogatory name I have for them. But so I was like, wow.
Okay, well, also... Oh,
Jared
go ahead.
forgets that he and I are friends on Reddit, and I know for a fact he didn't just recently stumble on
Wow.
them.
The fact-checking begins. The fact-checking
comes
begins.
out. He is so hard on me for the music I like and for the listening to pop music, but I know he knows.
But it's not one of those things. Let me clear the record here. I'm not one of those annoying guys that pop music sucks. Like, I can't believe
Yes,
this is
you
pop music.
actually are.
That's true, bro.
Yes, you
There's
are.
pop that he likes. I don't know why.
Exactly.
Who?
Thank you.
Who?
Thank you.
Well, okay, so some of the stuff that some of the stuff that's considered pop now. This is we're really getting bad.
Really, we're off the script.
Some of this may need to get cut down. But to expand on the conversation, like some of the stuff that gets considered pop is also indie, or also hip hop, or also R&B. So I'm confused about
it
like,
does
what
cross
they end up
over.
calling pop. I guess pop. There's not really a sound or anything like that to pop. It's just about what ends up being a phenomenon in music.
I agree with that, and I think of it as anything that they play on the radio repeatedly.
Because Cardi B's Bodak Yellow, not like classically pop, but it gets played.
It's
on, like,
very
pop
popular.
stations.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hear and have you slander my pop name. That's all I'm saying. Okay, well, thanks for the pop update, Brooke.
Yeah, you're
Pop
welcome.
updates with Brooke.
Pop updates
So
with
you
Brooke.
need to add that when Brooke comes on the show.
Pop updates with
I
Brooke.
like it.
There we go. That's perfect. That's the perfect job.
It's time for the basketball update with Jared then, if we're doing the pop update
Okay.
with Brooke. We've actually made it 3 episodes without referencing LeVar Ball, so I think we're actually better than every media outlet in America right now. But we have to bring up LeVar Ball, for those who don't know, is a very outspoken father who has 3 boys who want to be in the NBA. One currently plays for the Lakers. But he's just genuinely crazy. I would call him him personally, he's the Donald Trump of sports. And he wants his family to be the Kardashians of basketball. So he pulled you've probably heard the story about one of his sons got arrested in China for shoplifting. Donald Trump supposedly helped get them off the hook. They didn't thank him. Donald Trump is like, I should have left him in China, blah, 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 media circus. So LeVar Ball pulls his sons, who aren't in the NBA yet, LaMelo and LiAngelo, who are 19 and 16 respectively, out of school. One who had a full ride scholarship to UCLA, one who was at a private school in Chino Hills, pulls them out of school and signs them up to play basketball in a small village in Lithuania, with a population of 10,000 people, no local nightlife, not that that matters, kid's 16, and a team that barely can pay all of its bills. Some of the players haven't been paid in months, and they're not even the best team in the league. And I think this is the point where we as Americans need to look at LeVar Ball and say,
what the fuck are you doing?
What are you doing? Exactly. I begrudgingly respected him. Like, hey, at least he's a dad taking care of his kids. He got his kid to play on the team he wanted to play for. But dude, these kids are in for a rude awakening. Lithuania. Lithuania is not Los Angeles where they currently live. It is Eastern Europe, you know what I mean? You get caught shoplifting over there, you are stuck.
Never been to Lithuania, but I mean, Eastern Europe has a reputation.
You haven't been, you really should go. Have you? Just clear. Of course you've never been to Lithuania.
Eastern Europe has a reputation for being kind of a rough place to live. But just the idea of like taking your kids out of school when they already have tremendously bright, prospective futures, and having them go play ball with an organization that isn't really getting a lot of attention from the NBA or from the European basketball community in general. Like, what is the end game there? Do you plan to like parlay that into maybe playing for FC Barcelona at some point on their basketball team? Like, what's the idea? What's the plan?
The end game here is that now that they're out of high school and college, they don't have to respect amateur rules. So he's gonna. They also have their brand. We didn't address this big baller brand, a family clothing, sports apparel brand, and it's trash. I mean, it's just ugly, and it's all overpriced. Just like I said, truly the Donald Trump of sports. And so now they can get them their own quote unquote signature shoes with big brawler brand because they don't have to be amateurs anymore. And what sucks is the older one that's 19 who was going to get a full ride scholarship to UCLA will not play in the NBA. He's just not good enough, and I feel bad for him because at least he could have been a teenage kid in Los Angeles or a young kid in Los Angeles for 4 years, getting free college education.
Exactly.
But now there's no way he's going to become an NBA basketball player.
Wait, is he the one that was caught shoplifting?
And he was the one that was caught shoplifting.
I thought he lost his scholarship for that.
No, he didn't. They actually kept him because his younger brother, it was a package deal. So the oldest brother's really good at basketball. He plays for the Lakers right now. It's his first year. Middle one's trash. Like I'm probably was as good as him at basketball. The younger one isn't as good as the oldest, but will probably play in the NBA. So LeVar, being the guy he is, told UCLA, if you want one of my sons, you got to get all of my sons.
Oh my god.
So LiAngelo is honestly, LiAngelo, I hope you're listening. You were getting carried. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think this is a smart move. This is not the very first time, but this is a for sure time where I'm like, LeVar, you messed up here, man.
If they agreed to do that, They agreed to do that,
but
my gosh.
I mean, they're kids. I mean, their father, he's crazy.
No, but UCLA agreed to take both the sons.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, he agreed to take the sons.
So here's my question: They went through all this trouble to go through these negotiations.
Yeah.
I question the legality of it.
Right.
Pretty sure it's a gray area. To get both sons, and then he pulls them out of school and takes them to Europe.
Right.
UCLA has got to be pretty frustrated.
Well, UCLA, I think, was already pretty frustrated with the Ball family because they're not. Let's be clear: these kids are not LeBron James and not Michael Jordan. So it was getting to that point where they're like, "Listen, LaMelo's okay, but we don't need this dude. It's UCLA, you know what I mean?" As crazy as LeVar is, I'm sure UCLA was looking at each other like I guarantee you some of them breathed a sigh of relief when he pulled LiAngelo out of the program and told LaMelo that he wasn't going to be.
Well, maybe something did happen behind the scenes that we don't know. Like maybe UCLA finally was just like, you know what, we're done with you because you're crazy. That's
part of it. Like I said, LiAngelo's not good enough. He's not good enough, like just on his own, to have been recruited by UCLA. And some were saying that the coach just told LeVar and LiAngelo like, "Hey, yeah, your kid's on the team, but he's definitely not going to play." And the way the NBA works, when you graduate high school, you can't come straight to the NBA. You have to be out of high school for at least a year. So typically they go to college for a year, then they go to the NBA. So the plan always was for him to leave and go to the NBA, but you can't leave the college if you don't even play, because in the NBA is like you couldn't even play in college. So that's what some people are speculating that UCLA finally told the Balls like, hey, Jello's not playing. And he said, Jello's not playing. Well, I'm taking my boy over. We're going to go play in Europe. And then he got to Europe, and they're like, he's not playing here either. And so,
are they mentioning him in Europe, or are you joking?
Well, Lithuania. I'm sorry. There goes the Eastern European market. We were rising up the podcast bulls, but I'm sure I've disrespected them enough. But no, they're not a world-class basketball community. Well, some of them are, but it's in a village.
I mean,
this place is smaller
Olympics,
than a like Tomball for those in Houston, but just it's a small place that I don't even know. I'm surprised it has a basketball team, and like I said, can't pay its bills. So that shows you the demand that these kids are seeking.
Don't sleep on Eastern Europe. They love basketball. We were talking about this at work. I don't know what it is. Basketball. I don't know what it is about that region, but like they play that the American sport of basketball. They have more knowledge and more ability to play in Eastern Europe than any other American sport in that region. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I just love basketball over there. It just really worked out. I think, and here's another thing that's interesting about it. LaMelo LiAngelo Ball and LeVar Ball and their family, I'm sure just increased the African descent population in that town from 0 to whatever high percentage it is now.
I'm sure Lithuania has some Instagram models that they're knocking down.
No, you know that's another culture shock. These guys, they're mixed race. LeVar Ball is a black man and his wife is a white woman, so the kids are mixed race. Right. So I'm interested. That's another thing. What is it going to be like for those, for all purposes, ethnic? I hate to say that word, but ethnic kids in Eastern Europe, and how much that's going to be a change. But I think that's appropriate for our next segment. We have a resident person of mixed race here on the podcast. His name is Chance Barnett. For those of you who couldn't tell.
So I should clarify that we're really trying to get away from the term mixed race because we're not ice cream swirls.
Oh, okay. I appreciate that.
That's good to know.
We're trying to transition to biracial or multiracial.
Biracial.
I like multiracial. That sounds so cultural.
But so yeah, hit me with your question.
Well, let me set it up. Brooke and I are in a relationship. We're in a multiracial relationship. It's only 2 races involved. Brooke obviously could not withstand my chocolatey charms, and so we've been dating now for 2 years. Hopefully to spend the rest of our lives together.
Oh,
yeah, this is a proposal podcast. Okay. And then, but I mean, the assumption is we're gonna have multiracial kids.
I would hope so.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Right. It turns out I've been white
or
this whole
you
time.
do. You might.
And I don't know. I was just feeling like what I wanted to know, and Brooke wanted to know. I feel like as well. What is it like in Houston? Just give me just a brief backstory of what it's like to grow up as a multiracial kid, and where you grew up.
I don't want to speak for all people of multiple races. You really don't fit in anywhere. I grew up in Greenspoint. I went to Banner Middle School. It's a predominantly black community. I was always the white kid.
In the black community, you're always the white kid.
Always. And vice versa. And it's not even just white people. When I'm hanging around people who aren't black, I'm the black guy.
Right.
I'm the guy that people want to experiment with, racial jokes and
right.
Skirt the line.
Gotcha.
Sometimes I let her do it. Sometimes I put my foot down and I'm like, no, we're not gonna have that. But yeah, it's always a constant. When I was younger, it was a constant identity issue. It's like there are these 2 groups that are there, and you are supposed to fall into one or the other, but then you discover you really don't fall in either one. And so once you accept that, I think it's things get easier.
Gotcha.
But early on, it was pretty difficult.
Pretty difficult.
I think Obama had struggled with the same issue too. Like he really didn't fit in anywhere, and so he stopped trying.
As long as I've known you, I don't think I've ever really thought about. Did you feel a special connection, even more so than maybe the black community, to a multiracial president who you knew experienced similar things you did?
Drake went platinum that year.
Oh.
J. Cole had just come out, and Barack Obama got elected president. I was like, mixed people are winning. I posted that on Facebook. Biracial people are taking over, and everyone was like, yeah, you're right. I know it. We're out here.
Man, that's interesting, man. Like, I guess I just always, and it's interesting you said in the black community you were looked at as the whitest kid, white community you were looked at as the blackest kid. When I met you first, you had a big afro. You know what I mean? You were a little nerdy around the edges, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You said some things. I was like, this is a black dude. And so mentally, I know people look and see you a certain way. In my head, I just call you black, you know what I mean? And
People who know me.
right, but I also feel like, do you feel any, I don't want to say resentment, but do you feel not misunderstood and like pity on me, but misunderstood just by definition, like for the black person who just assumes like this guy's black through and through, not through and through, but you know what I'm saying? Like they don't understand your white heritage through your mother or the white people who don't understand your black heritage through your father. Do you feel like people just assume things about who you should be, how you should feel about things because of what they perceive you as?
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Absolutely. Yeah, constantly. I don't harbor resentment toward people who accept me in the black community because I mean, not too long ago it didn't matter.
Right.
You were a little bit black, didn't matter. You were black.
Right.
But I think I resent people who try to question my black presence or my black identity because my mom was white.
Right.
Because again, it didn't matter.
Right.
Still, in many ways, it still doesn't.
Exactly.
And people, I've been in situations where people have learned or come to the realization that my dad was black and then I'm biracial, and then they start acting funny.
Really?
At work,
Yeah.
in relationships, and those are the things I resent. Those are the things I try to weed out of my life. So, yeah, it does happen, unfortunately. It's unique, but I don't think it's any different from any of the other racial issues that people who are purely black or purely white or purely Hispanic, purely Asian experience.
Yeah.
It's just as a human species, I think there's something about someone being different from you that people don't know how to act sometimes. So,
Yeah. What Brooke, I'm gonna ask some future stuff for us. Were you cognizant of the like how your parents treated the your like race relations with you? Like could you feel like your dad was pulling you one way or your mother was pulling you to think this way? Or did they just treat you like just give me
My dad was a typical African American father.
Yeah. I feel you.
Strict.
Yeah.
Angry all the time.
Okay.
Don't bring your friends over. Stop eating all the damn food in the fridge. My mom was, in many ways, she was the stereotypical mom of biracial children. I mean,
Okay.
Looking back, she was that woman who was like trying to buddy with black people because her kids were part black.
Yeah.
When I was young, I didn't know any better, and those people would like come up and they would play with me and my sister, and they would look at our hair, and they would like, they'd try to fix my sister's hair and stuff like that because my mom really didn't know how to do it.
Exactly.
And when I was younger, I didn't know any better. I was just like, hey, these people are trying to play with us. But looking back, they were like kind of low key feeling sorry for it. Like, your mom is kind of tripping.
Yeah.
That's just who my mom was. That's who she was. They didn't treat us any different though. I remember the first time my dad heard me say nigga, he made me stop what I was doing. He's like, do you really understand the word you're saying?
Yeah.
And at the time, honestly, I didn't. I just knew it was like something my friend said, and I knew it was something white people wasn't supposed to say.
Yeah.
And we had a long conversation about, what it was like to use that word, within the black community, and what it was like to hear that word from white people when he was growing up in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
sort of the nuances behind the language mechanism of the word. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you.
That was pretty much it. We never had discussions like that with my mom. She never, as far as I can remember, she never used the word.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a Richard Pryor situation.
I feel it. Yeah.
He, like, took her outside and made her look at the stars.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it. They didn't really act different with us. My mom tried to act brand new with black people. Pretty much.
I feel you.
So when you were like going through these like identity, trying to figure out your identity, did you talk to your parents about that? Did you keep it to yourself?
I talked to my dad about it, and he would try to reassure me. He's like, son, I understand what you're trying to say, but you're black. It didn't matter. And that was his justification.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, they would have beat your ass the same way. They would have strung you up in a tree the same way. They would have had you out in the field next to black people the same way.
Mm-hmm.
There is no difference. You're black. And he would just try to beat that into my head. Like, you're black. Don't try to second guess yourself. And my issue was like, and still, and I've come to accept it, and I understand with you. I've come to understand that, like, when people meet me, they're not always immediately aware that I'm biracial, and
Mm-hmm.
because my dad's black and my mom's white. People think I'm Turkish.
Yeah.
They think I'm Middle Eastern. They think
Uh-huh.
I'm Brazilian. They think I'm, Latino.
Uh-huh.
I've heard everything. They think I'm Greek. That was the most recent one I heard. They see that there is some pigment in my skin and that my features are not exactly Anglo-Saxon. And that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
So I've come to accept that people aren't immediately aware that I'm black. But it's just that when I was a kid, there were groups. You know how school is. Kids are very cliquish. There were groups that I was supposed to fall into, and I never really fit perfectly in any of those.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I just there was a moment, I think, like my senior year of high school, I was like, I'm here.
Yeah.
Frizzy hair, pointy nose, whatever. Fat lips, I'm here. Just let me live my life.
Yeah. That's interesting what you said about what your dad would say to you, because that's what I always assumed, and for that same justification he did, I would just Brooke would ask me, I would just tell her straight up, you're going to have black kids. Like, just prepare yourself because of how people might perceive them.
Worst case scenario, that's how people are going to act.
Right.
They're not going to be like, they're a little bit white.
But I'm seeing now it was almost coming from me from a place of almost trying to protect them and shield them from that naivety. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want them to come you want to tell your kid, hey, the world's they're most likely gonna treat you a certain way, so you need to be prepared and understand. But now I'm thankful, hopefully, like you've experienced, I'll be able to raise my kids in an environment where this is what it was, and this is how I feel about it. But you are you know what I mean? You're me, you're your mother, you know what I'm saying? Your Chance, you're whatever, you know what you are. And I think it'll be interesting to see what comes of that. Don't you think? I think so.
I think so too.
Well, this has been
one of the more important things I want to note for Brooke is that just be prepared for multiple hair textures.
I need help. I'm gonna need a lot of help.
Along here, I've got like the long, wavy, like Frank Sinatra hair, and then right here, I've got like Huey P. Newton, and then over here, I've got like the stuff that'll dread up if I don't comb it, like in the back. So just be prepared for like different hair textures.
Okay.
a nice array.
I can do that.
Patient.
Wow, this has been the educational.
Very educational.
Thank you, Chad. We're actually going to take a breather, and we'll be right back.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to Black Weekend Podcast. You can find our Instagram and Twitter at Black Weekend Pod, and you can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts, SoundCloud, Google Play, iTunes, and you can find our Tumblr at Black Weekend. All right, let's get back to it.
Hey, welcome back. We are back, and we're gonna discuss something. I guess that's kind of important to anything that's being put on the internet right now.
Seriously.
Yeah, Net neutrality. I'm sorry, guys. Us too. We're talking about it too. But I mean, it's a pretty big deal.
Everyone needs to be aware.
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
needs to hear it over and over again.
And the gist of it is, I'm gonna explain it. I'm gonna explain it really quickly from a kind of know what I'm talking about. Chance is gonna give you the actual what it really means. Then Brooke is gonna tell us her perspective on it because I don't think she.
I know nothing.
Gotcha. So basically, this is how I feel the best way to explain it is. Right now, well, net neutrality was enacted pretty recently, and what it basically meant was, basically what it says, all parties on the internet should be treated equally, so your providers can't differentiate between content that's distributed to you through their networks. So they can't say, oh, because you're video streaming, it's going to cause this much to get it to you, or because you're calling someone, it's going to cause this much, or because you're doing this and such and such. It's basically putting everybody on an equal playing field, and it's just how the internet should be. It's kind of how it always been, but it was put in the rules were put into place to make sure that's how it was continued to be, because potentially, if you have Comcast, they could say, oh, we're going to give you, if you want, the best quality Netflix, you got to get the streaming package, which, you pay a little extra dollar, more money, and that way you get your Netflix, Hulu, and such at our highest fidelity. Or, oh, if you really like, listening to podcasts, you got to get our audio package. And, it allows, without net neutrality, that's basically what we could be staring down the barrel of. And plus much more. Am I more or less correct in that?
That's pretty much right. The basic principle is that all network on the internet, or all traffic on the network is treated equally. You don't rate limit certain content, and then vice versa. You don't charge people more to get certain content on time. What's your favorite music streaming service, Brooke?
Music streaming?
Yeah.
Well, thanks to Jarrett, Google Play.
Okay. So could you imagine if you had to pay like an extra $20 a month to Comcast to get Google Play streamed to you at 20 megs per
No,
second?
that would suck.
That would be terrible.
Yeah.
Right? But that's what the violation of net neutrality allows.
Exactly.
So to
and whether that charge hits you through Comcast charging you, it is obviously would suck. Or if Comcast makes Netflix play, who in turn increases your price on your subscription to that service, it's going to hit you one way or another, no matter what.
Absolutely.
But go ahead.
So to expand on what Jarrett was talking about, the FCC voted in measures during the Obama administration that protected the principle of net neutrality. It basically made it enforceable under the FCC. What Ajit Pai did on December 14th is repeal.
And who is
those
Ajit
measures.
Pai for?
Ajit Pai is the current FCC chairman. So what he did is he repealed those measures that were put in place by the Obama administration, which now it doesn't immediately violate net neutrality. But what it does is it makes the internet vulnerable to net neutrality violations.
Right.
ISPs now have a little bit more wiggle room
Internet
to say,
service providers.
we're going to charge you $15 a month extra if you want to continue the Hangouts package to text your friends from your computer at home.
It's
Or
basically.
we're only going to deliver every other character of the memes that your friends try to send you, things like that.
It's
That's
basically what everyone hates about cable. Brooke
Exactly.
is a huge cable person. For those, I'm telling all your business.
That's
Brooke.
fine. I'm proud to admit I will pay for cable.
And see, that's the
I
problem.
have shows to watch, okay?
Right, and so there's a channels that Brooke like, and right now you can't just get those channels. You can't, say I want to choose these 5 channels, and these are the 5 channels I want. The Comcast would laugh you out of their building.
Right.
You have to. How does it work, Brooke? If let's say you wanted to, when you were signing up for cable, you wanted to get E Lifetime. How'd you do that?
So I told them, I literally said there are specific channels that I need. One
Right.
of them was E, one of them was Bravo.
Hallmark apparently as well.
I do love Hallmark too. Anyway, and so they said, okay, then you have to get this package. So basically they have 3 packages.
Uh-huh.
One of them has very few channels.
Right.
The next one has most of the channels, but then the biggest package has like every channel.
Right.
And they specifically, I mean, I know I'm getting ripped off.
Right,
Like
right.
I know it's a ripoff because they specifically take out certain channels
That you would want.
that you would want. So
Right.
you'll go up, you'll upgrade,
Right.
But so I'm in the middle. I don't have all the channels, but I have more than just the basics.
So imagine if it's just the same thing. Imagine if you had to do that with what are your favorite apps? Instagram, Snapchat?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if Verizon called you and said, Brooke, look, we know you like those, but we're just going to be honest with you.
They're in 2 separate data packages.
Exactly.
No,
It's easier to pay for 2 data packages on your phone.
No,
Right.
that sucks.
That's what everyone's arguing against.
Yeah.
And because this is not just Black Weekend this isn't, PBS Black Weekend. We gotta trash my man's Ajit Pai here.
So he posted a video that I think later that day or the next day. It was like pandering bullshit. It was him. It was a video where he was talking about all the things that you can still do on the internet, even though these FCC measures have been repealed. And it was dumb shit like you can still order food, you can still post pictures of cats. It was like
It was horrible memes.
It was like
too.
fellow youngsters. Let's
just
go
on a
skateboard.
meme level.
like shit like that.
On a meme level, it was subpar stuff. I think they
was
did
terrible.
the Harlem Shuffle at one
Oh yeah,
point.
Ajit Pai did the Harlem
And
Shake.
you just
No
honestly
one's
felt
done the
bad.
Harlem Shake since
Yeah, it's the
2003.
shake. That's how long it's been. I didn't even realize it was the Harlem Shake. It was just honestly atrocious. And I honestly, unless Chance have got more, I don't even want to give this guy more of my time because that's how my.
I think what the real issue I took with it is that he's pandering. He's trying to pander to young people. 1,
Uh-huh.
2. He's trying to create an air of positivity and an air of reassurance for people who don't know how the internet works
Right.
and people who don't understand the concept of net neutrality. So they watch this video and they're like, "Yeah, the FCC commissioner said I can still do all this stuff that I do on the internet, so I don't understand what everyone's whining about." It doesn't address the actual issue of repealing these measures. It doesn't educate you on all of the angles of the issue. It doesn't explain to people how this is bad for the internet and
Yeah.
free speech in general. That was my issue with it. So, guys, I don't want to get too political, but definitely in the future when you're voting, try to vote for people who want to protect net neutrality,
I agree.
among other things.
Brooke recently just ran for public office. Are you for or against net
I
neutrality?
did not run for public office.
Hypothetically, you ran for public office. Are you for
Whoa,
or against?
whoa, give us some
Again.
detail here. What happened?
Okay, I'm in grad school, and for a paper, we had to write a experimental study, and you had to sway people to vote for you, like
Yeah.
change their vote for you. And so that's all I did.
Did you make a video where you dressed up like Santa Claus?
No, I literally just
And you
wrote
put
it.
sriracha sauce
Please
all over
believe me,
your
if she
ramen?
had done that, that would have been the thumbnail for this podcast. I guarantee it. But that's it for us this week, guys. I appreciate y'all listening to it. We really do like doing this. I like bringing Brooke onto. I guess this will
You
be
were
the
a fantastic
Thank
guest.
you.
Right.
Thank
this will be the
you.
first one she's listened to fully
We
because
look
she's
forward-
in it.
We look forward to your popcorners.
Oh, I'll be back for the pop.
Of course you will. You're going to be on the show forever now because of your hiss drop.
Oh,
It's now going to be an established part of
yes.
Black
When we
Weekend.
call someone a snake, we hit that.
Yes.
Exactly. So I really appreciate it for coming. We're just gonna wrap it up with last words. Brooke, you got any last things for the listeners? If not, it's fine.
I just want to say thank you for letting me come on. I had a great time. Let me know if you need a pop corner because I
Yeah,
can give
will.
you that.
Okay, perfect.
Also, I can do a reality TV segment.
Which
'cause
will be happening.
I'm all about that.
What reality TV show are you most looking forward to in like the next month? Next
Project Runway All Stars.
Oh, okay.
That is on my list. Oh, and also Celebrity Big Brother.
We will check back in.
I'm currently making my predictions of who's going to be on Celebrity Big Brother.
Okay.
So I need to get those ready so I'm good to go for when
Can
it
they just
starts.
put
They
Kanye on
announce
there
it.
so he can win?
Right.
Like in the first week, it's like just give it to him. We're not gonna play these games. for
Brooke,
Kanye.
if for the listeners that are for the small subset of listeners who currently listen to Black Weekend and don't know who you are, but want to follow you on social media, where are you willing to let them know where you're at?
You can find me on Instagram at Brooke blank B.
Okay.
And you'll see me and Jarrett on there.
What if they wanted to? What if they really just want to hear your humor? Are you gonna let them in on your tweet situation?
Yeah, you can check me out on Twitter.
I feel like you're always saying,
I'm not that fun. Okay.
I'm trying to
you
prop
don't
up
need
here.
to go that far.
I'm trying to get you some likes here.
What actually really happens is I'm like, oh, Jared, I had a really funny tweet today, and he's like, I don't know, I don't follow you. We don't even.
So none of that was enough.
If we go down that social media, no, we're not going down the social media
No,
path.
you don't have to.
But,
Okay.
What's your last word?
My last word is I like to help send out prayer requests. I'll tell you who I'm praying for, and I hope y'all join me in praying for him this week. This week, last week we were praying for Bob Mueller. I hope everyone. I mean, last month we were praying for Bob
Honestly,
Mueller.
we're still praying for Bob Mueller.
Yeah, we always. That's just a continued prayer. This week and hopefully this season, I want you to join me in praying for the black girls on the season of the upcoming season of The Bachelor. I think it starts January 1st. The Bachelor, for those of you who don't know, is this show where eligible women come in, basically 25 women all try to date this one guy and he proposes to them. It's a whole big sham, but we all get caught up into it because we love stories. And for the last...
Jarrett and Brooke get caught up into it.
No.
Please do not.
and
include
the
my
rest
name.
of the
rest
world,
of the
except for
world.
Chance, I guess.
So it's one of those things like for the first 19 season or so, it was this white guy and they trotted out 3 or 4 tokens, and just said, there's black girls on this show, we're not racist.
Right.
Which they weren't, but that those guys were never picking those black girls. But recently we actually had a girl, her name was Rachel Lindsay. Shout outs to her. All the black cards we're giving them to her. Anyways, she went far and it's really just shown, like ABC's taking this seriously. So this is why I'm praying for these current black girls on the season of The Bachelor, because never before have they ever been taken more seriously than they will be now.
True.
Before it was just like, it was almost a joke, like how many weeks is there still going to be?
They were props.
Right, how many weeks is there still going to be a minority in the
Right.
running? But now, not only can they be in the running, they might end up as the next bachelorette. So I feel like a black girl going on there before, like, I'm on here, but I'm really just trying to get my Instagram likes up. These girls are on here and part of it. So just pray for them that they represent well, and that maybe who knows what happens, but. It's a whole new world for black women on The Bachelor. So let's keep them on our prayers. Chance, what you got?
Real short. Again, we're trying to move away from mixed race. The term is biracial or multiracial.
Gotcha.
I'm guilty of it too.
Multiracial.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Let's end it just real quick. What are you not bringing with you into 2018?
Overdrafting my checking.
Oh my gosh.
Doing it in 2018.
Yes, I'm getting out of credit card debt. I'm going off of yours.
Girl.
Yeah, I'm no more credit cards.
What I'm not bringing into 2018. I plan to be in the last year I write single on my tax return.
Oh yes.
Yes.